Guys, you're welcome to another day. And did you all watch that video? Are you as shocked as I am? Now don't tell me that you are not shocked, because if you say so, then I'm going to be wondering what gets you shocked. So you can see that this is a video of a burial that is taking place here in Ghana, and for a split second I did not think that that was a burial. I just thought maybe it was some other kind of occasion that was taking place, but I had to look closer to be sure that exactly what I am seeing is a corpse sitting down there. So today's video I want to talk about my observation, which is more like a cultural shock to me here coming to Ghana and seeing the way that burials do take place here. So guys, before we go deep into the video, remember that you can subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notification, give this video a thumbs up, and let's get rolling. So I said we're going to be talking about my cultural shock here in Ghana when it comes to burial ceremonies or celebrations or whatever it is. Honestly speaking, I have never ever witnessed burials the way they are being done here in Ghana, and to tell you the truth, I would want to look at it as a very rich culture, in as much as it does have some kind of shocking elements to it. But then these are the things that actually make cultures, tradition, and lifestyle rich in their own ways. Now what I cannot tell is if this is exactly a Ghanaian culture or tradition. So please do let me know in the comments if this is a tradition right here in Ghana, or perhaps there are particular tribes that are predisposed to this kind of ways of conducting burials. Either way, I'd want to know whether it is, or it's just a family thing, or is it a borrowed culture, or is it something that the Ghanaians are trying to infuse into their culture here and make it a thing, which of course, like I said, it's rich, although it's kind of shocking, and you're like, just what is this? So let me go back to the beginning of my cultural shock witnessing burials here in Ghana. I remember the first time I came to Ghana. I came here on a Thursday, if I am not mistaken, and like most visitors, we got to land in Accra, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't really get to notice anything, because that day I just landed and I was trying to go get to my Airbnb or all that place that we need to stay, and that weekend passed without noticing anything. And I think the following week, about 2 weeks later, which I'm not too sure, it's been quite a number of years right now, but the shock still remains. I remember a Friday, all of a sudden I start to hear siren, and because coming from Nigeria, most times you only get to hear sirens like that are conveying corpse when you're going to the village, and of course that there's a body that is being brought home. Living in the city, you rarely get to hear things like that, except maybe once in a while where there's a wake keep taking place, which like I said, often does something like that happen. So but I noticed that here in Ghana, every Friday you're certainly going to hear sirens, and aside hearing the siren, there's always this something like a jamboree, something like a funfair that is attached to it. So when I moved from Accra at that time to Kasua, I was opportune to live close to the road, and every Friday, while I'm waiting for my daughter to come back from school via the school bus, I was living upstairs. I would sit at the balcony and I would notice bike men, coming in such erratic or ecstatic way, putting on a lot of acrobatic moves on the road. And another thing that is very striking is that On Fridays, you would know that this person is going for a burial because they are always clad in their black and red. Like I said, there's just something fun about it, something entertaining concerning it. But still, it was a shock because I think Ghanaians really adorn their black and white, I'm sorry, their black and red, which is a silent communication to let you know that this person is mourning or this person is going for a burial. So coming here, all the sounds that are being, attached to the parade, the entourage, the jamboree or whatever it is kind of a shock because here I am thinking based off where I'm coming from that most times when you see this kind of celebration, it has to do with weddings, it has to do with chieftaincy titles, it has to do with something that is, what celebrating in the term of, happiness attached to it. But here I am seeing people are kitting up, people are, in a kind of fun feel, moment when it has to do with burial. And I keep asking myself, are we happy that this person is deceased? Or, like I said, is it a passage or a way of, sending forth that person? So these things are usually kind of a shock to me. And I remember there was a question I once asked somebody. Is it that celebrations of this magnitude are of a certain age, or is something that is cut across everybody, everyone who is deceased, irrespective of your age? Until date, I'm yet to get an answer that is befitting to that question because I just feel that it's a thing that is, done irrespective of your age, which again I might be wrong, but this is me, expressing my shock concerning, burials here in Ghana. And I'm not going to say it's oh gosh, I cannot, that kind of feeling. Like I said, it's a rich culture because that is the beauty of traveling from one place to another. You get to witness a culture that is, quite different from what is, obtainable in your place, irrespective of the fact that you just can't, wrap your head around it. And it's shocking, and that's why I'm talking about it, because where I come from, like I said, we do not get to, prepare for burials like this. We do not get to prepare for, wake keeps the way it's being done. And like I said, once again, I'd love to know, is it a borrowed culture? Is it a, a particular tribe thing here in Ghana? Or is it a general thing for, the whole of Ghana, that you have this, excitement? Maybe excitement is not the right word, but that is the way I perceive it, that there's kind of an excitement. And I'm going to tell you another reason why I feel it's excitement. It looks like every Friday, Saturday, the guests are always sewing a new outfit because the one too many that I have come across on Fridays and Saturdays, they are usually putting on a new material. And another thing that I have noticed is that if you go to the market, which I saw in Makola Market, which is located in Accra, you get to see people who are specialized, they specialize in selling materials that are only for burials. You see the black and the red, you see the plain black, you see the black and white, which I feel, okay, so make me understand. The black and white is if, specifically for family members, that's the deceased families, then the black and red is just, for guests or, make me understand. But what I'm saying is that you go to the market, you see that people, this is just what they sell. And this, gives rise to what I am saying, that it looks like every burial that is taking place, every guest gets to sew a new outfit. Now, please don't let me know, is it compulsory that you sew a new outfit for the burial, or it's just a personal thing, or people just feel that, oh, if I wore this, this black and red for a burial that took place maybe 2 months that I attended, I don't want to repeat it, or that kind of thing. So these are part of the shocks that I have observed here in when burials are taking place right here in Ghana. Now let's move away from the entourage, the display, the noise and everything that has to do with that. Now let's move down to the presentation of the corpse. You guys just saw that video, and I'm going to try and put a couple of pictures of different corpse that I have seen on Facebook. And guys, every time I get to see a corpse that has to do with burial and all of that, it is always from Ghana. It is always from Ghana. And this is why I keep saying, is it a cultural thing here, or is it associated with a particular tribe, or I don't know. Now, when I saw this video, like I said early on, for a split second, I didn't know it was a burial till I had to, watch it closely. And I noticed that it was a burial. And of course, with everything that was just going on around the video, you just have to know that this is a burial. Now, let me tell you guys, my first time of witnessing something like this, I was on my way to Obinjeo with a couple of people, and we ran into traffic on the road, and the cars were going slowly. So by the time we got to the course of the traffic on the road, we noticed that there was a funeral taking place in kind of an open field, and the guests parked their cars on the road, which caused the slow movement of cars. So while we were in our bus and we were observing everything, I noticed a body that was seated, and a lot of people were just going around about it, almost something like this. And the next thing I would tell my husband, that's the dead body there. So this is another shock that I had never, that would be the first time that I would notice something like this. I would feel something like this, because I think so far so good, I have attended just one burial, and that would be the burial of my father. Although I have seen videos of burial rites and all of those things, but what I know is that during the wake keep, the body is always in the casket, and during the burial, the funeral itself, the body is always in the casket. Not until even it's always in the casket, even when the family members and friends are supposed to go around and see it for the last time. But here there is a body seated in the midst of guests, and I am like, my shock was shocked that day. That would be the first time I would see something like that, and that was in the year 2019. And I'm like, and shortly after that, I started seeing so many things that got me mesmerized, if I must say. A lot of things that shocked me to my marrow. Now let's take a step away from the dead body being displayed outside. Let's talk about the casket. I would also leave a picture, if I can get hold of it, of a casket that was crafted in the form of the genitals of a man. And I'm like, is this also a silent communication? Is this a silent communication? Are you guys trying to tell us the kind of lifestyle the deceased lived while he or she were alive? Because I'm here wondering why would a casket be crafted in such a manner? And obviously, I know that the casket maker did not, was not the brain behind that, design. Obviously, it had to be the family members. And then I am wondering why. Then I come across another one that's, in the form of something like a rocket. I'm like, what is this? I see another one that is, in a cocoa pod, and I'm like, this. Now let's go back to the display of the human, the corpse rather. I see one that is being displayed with the woman cooking. I mean, she was positioned in such a way that you would know that this person, while she was alive, she was probably running a chop bar, a restaurant, or something of that nature that connotes cooking. And I'm like, what is this? But then again, I would say, in as much as it gets me, shocked and surprised, it is a rich culture because I am here talking about it. I am talking about how I am amazed, how I am, surprised, how I am wowed, and it leaves me wondering, has it gotten to this level that we do not, in fact, I'm just wondering, what is the rationale behind it? What is the story behind all of this, display? What is the idea behind all the celebration that has to do with, the way the burials are being conducted here in Ghana? What is the idea behind it? And like I said, has this always been time immemorial, or it's something that just started of recent? Is this a borrowed culture? Is this a cultural thing that is, likened to a particular tribe? And why? Why? Because Ghanaians, correct me if I am wrong, but I have this feeling that Ghanaians tend to celebrate burials more than any other celebration. I have been here for about 8-9 years, and the attention, the preparation that is given to burials are not given to weddings. Now, if you were to put 10 burials on the ground and 10 weddings or any other type of celebration that is taking place, the 10 burials are hyped. They are well articulated, they are well presented, they are well showcased, they are well how do I explain it as compared to other celebrations? Somebody is getting married, except maybe it's a celebrity or someone who is well known, you hardly even notice. The streets are not shut down. There's no noise, there's no gong 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 gong, all those kind of stuff. But when it comes to burial, you can't but notice that a burial is taking place, and you notice it because of the things that are being done in it. The what's the word? The display, the richness of everything that is attached to it. And unlike where I'm coming, and I want to believe it's the same with most African countries. Let's not even talk about the countries of the West, whereby it's kind of a solemn mood. But let's talk about other African countries. It's kind of low key, in the sense that of course a burial is taking place, and it is as it's supposed to be, quiet and nothing. You don't see all those funny things that are attached to it. But either ways, it's good that whatever it is that you want to do, you stand out. And if this is the way that Ghanaians remember their dead or their lost ones, then it's all good, because anything that you do to farewell that person and have a good reminder or remembrance of that person, go ahead and do it. And while you are at that, continue to shock we the foreigners, we the visitors into your country, because when we are coming into your country, we definitely want to leave with a taste and something that would not leave our minds easily. So obviously, as a foreigner who is living here in Ghana, if and whenever I do leave Ghana, this is one cultural shock that I am going to be talking about for a very, very, very long time. The way people prepare in terms of their physical appearance to go for burials, the way the display on the road, down to the caskets, and even the display of the the dead body. So guys, this is me just talking about my cultural shock of how Ghanaians do prepare and bury their loved ones. And I'd love to know if you are a foreigner here in Ghana, or if you've had the opportunity to witness or see on social media or even on the television, what was your first reaction? So guys, thank you, and don't forget that this is Obinjeo, where I get to talk about the things that I have seen in Ghana. And if you want to be a part of this beautiful family that we have here, subscribe to the channel, subscribe, turn on your post notifications so that when I bring videos like these and more, you will be the first to get it. And do turn on your post notification, give this video a thumbs up, and please do share it. And I will see you guys another beautiful day. Thank you and bye. Stay blessed.